Welcome to Creators Cafe. I'm your host, Jessica Payne. I'm a performer, performance coach, and multi-hyphenate creator. I'm going to be bringing you conversations with some of my favorite creators where we talk about the sublime and the specifics of the creative journey. So grab a drink, get cozy. Let's go. My guest, Sheri Urann, is an actor, writer, dancer, model, filmmaker, and creative juggernaut. He got his start in the Pacific Northwest, where he created plays and homemade movies with his 5 siblings. He went on to found Fat Gratitude Productions with his siblings Sheri and Sean, where they produce documentaries and work for local nonprofits and community-based organizations. After he went to school for dramatic writing, he continued working as an actor, writer, choreographer, and director until COVID hit. So he took to TikTok to dance and entertain. That led to opportunities in LA, where in the last 3 years alone, he has modeled for 15 brands and appeared in over 50 commercials. Sheri is passionate about creating representative art that celebrates the LGBTQIA+ community and the plus-size community. He has created and produced 3 short films and kills it regularly as a brawn model for brands from Savage X Fenty to Peloton. Please enjoy my conversation with the joyfully passionate master collaborator, Sheri Urann. Okay, Sheri Urann, welcome to Creators Cafe.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me, Jessica.
Mm-hmm. What are you drinking today?
I'm having a iced vanilla latte. Oh, it's an Americano.
Nice. And I have an iced latte from Verve, which is a local roasting chain.
Yeah, thank you, Verve. It's tasty.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you think of yourself as an artist? What are all the titles that you go by in your head and that you wake up and do things in that area?
I think for first and always, I was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And from doing acting, I got into writing. So got my degree in playwriting, but also I'm a dancer. I'm a model. I'm a filmmaker. I've done producing. I've done some casting. But primarily, I think of myself as an actor.
Fantastic. And you signed an NDA, so we won't talk about it, but you came to my house after having just done a self-tape and then gone across town for another dance audition. So you were like living the life.
It feels like 2024 is finally coming back alive, especially like being part of the union. Like there's now some commercial auditions, and today definitely felt like the fantasy. I also like to be in person is crazy because that hasn't happened in so long. Like to get to rehearse in a room with 15 other dancers and audition in front of 15 people is like, that's not happening, you know what I mean? And I don't know. And also just to be in that room with someone who's like bigger than your average dancer, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
It feels good to be here.
Yeah, you're like representing a whole category of people, but you are the forefront. You are that.
It felt good, yeah. Hopefully I did good. I think I did good. I feel good about it.
I'm sure you did. That sounds awesome.
I had fun, so.
I have seen you dance. It's quite good.
Thank you.
So let's start off with kind of talking about what brought you to LA and how recently you've been here.
Yeah, so I've done theater my whole life.
Yeah.
Always and forever. I got my degree from Western Washington University in Bellingham, and I lived forever in the Pacific Northwest. And I was actually in my hometown, Spokane, before COVID. I was running a gay nightclub and I was doing local theater. I was choreographing a musical and I was set to direct my first show all by myself. And I'd been working toward that.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and it was like everything ended. Like the nightclub was over, the gay bar was over, and theater was just totally put on pause.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I think for the first time in a long time, I was like, what do I want to do? Like, and have I gotten further and further from like my dream of living as a full-time artist? And I started making TikTok videos at the laundromat because I missed dance because I was supposed to be working on a musical that had been postponed.
Right.
And those kind of like early TikTok was so fun. That was like, and so that gained some traction and someone hit me up one day and was like, hey, would you like to be a plus size model? I'd like to submit you for this Levi's campaign. And I thought it was BS. I thought it was like DM to collab. You know what I mean? I actually ignored it. I didn't answer it. And then he hit me up again. His name is Daniel Peddle. And he was like, no, this is like, I don't think you understand, this is for real. I'm for real. Like, do you want to hop on a call real quick? And I was like, yes. And that call changed my life. And And he got me signed to an LA agency. And then within 3 months, I think I decided to move to LA and pursue a career in plus size modeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have been on a billboard doing that, right?
Yeah, with my boyfriend actually, which is so cool.
That's so sweet.
And I'm on a billboard right now for a casino in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, I just found out yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel to know that your face is giant in the sky?
Gosh. I think for me, it was like a year into the LA adventure and a year into knowing my boyfriend. We met like when I first moved here.
I've met him.
Yeah, Kenny.
Kenny's so sweet
what
and
a babe.
amazing. Yeah.
What a babe. And a collaborator as well. He's a photographer. We worked together a bunch. But to like see us up there, like for him and me, our first billboard, we brought a fat blunt and a bottle of champagne and we celebrated right there on the side of the street. We popped that shit because like those moments are the ones you have to soak up.
Yeah.
Because they're what you're working for.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't take those moments, then you're not going to be able to survive all the day in and day out of hustling as an artist.
Yeah.
Because shit, honey.
It's a lot. It's real.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad I asked too.
Yeah, that was like a really magical moment.
Oh.
Still treasure that beyond all. I'm ready for some more billboards.
Yeah. So the one that you did with Kenny, what brand was that for?
That was MeUndies.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And they were actually my first client ever in LA. And I worked with them, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But they have a cool like brand mission, which is to use new models all the time. Like models that aren't used in anything else. So they give people their kind of like first jobs.
That's cool.
Which was like magical for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. 2 billboards. Way to go. Nice. And like when you start off in theater, you never think that's what the path is going to be. But
no, theater is like the no glory like pursuit. You know what I mean? Like maybe you'll be in a touring show one day or like Broadway, if you even want that though. But a lot of people who do theater, I never wanted that. I never wanted to be on the road, and I never wanted to live in New York.
Okay.
New York? I'm sorry. If you're an Asian in New York, I love it.
Happy to visit. Happy to work.
Happy to work there, yeah. Just felt like living amongst the rats, so.
Totally fair. Yeah, I have both toured and lived in New York. And
wow.
Yeah, so I know all the stories, but I think I like to try a lot of things, so I'm very happy I landed here.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so when you were about to direct, I never asked you, what were you going to direct? And then your life took a very, very big swing.
Yeah. Oh my, don't let me blank. Native Gardens.
Okay.
Which is just a 4-person play. It was going to be done black box style, and it's about 2 neighbors. They're differing in race and age, and like the way they take care of their yards is so different. One, they like win the neighborhood competition every year for the best yard.
Okay.
Like older white couple, and then we have a young interracial couple who just want to let their garden grow wild.
Okay.
With natural plants. And so it's just about differing ideologies stuck in the same neighborhood.
That's cool. I like that.
And it was going to be so intimate, you know?
Yeah.
One day I will direct my own show. But since then I've kind of, it's so wild actually. I was talking to my boyfriend yesterday. 3 years I've been in LA, and also 3 years is the longest I've gone without being in a play since I was maybe 5 years old.
Wow.
Like it's been quite a bit of breakup with theater, and this year I want to start dipping my toes back in small ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's out there now.
He's
available.
Yeah, call me.
Call Jeremy.
Call me New York. New York!
That's so funny. One of the many things that you've done is you have gotten into filmmaking. And so you have a short that's actually making the rounds at festivals that was filmed at the gym that we both go to, Brick, here in Los Angeles. Can you talk about what that was and how it kind of developed and what is happening with it now?
Absolutely. So I think you come to LA and you're like, man, I'm so excited to act in these really cool projects. And what you kind of come to find is that those projects are harder to find than you think. And I was like, okay, well then I'll create it myself. Like I'll create the opportunity for myself and others to play.
Yeah.
And obviously a big challenge is money when it comes to filmmaking. But I was working for a production company, Sherwood, as a PA. I pitched them on the idea. They loved it. I said, queer physical comedy, short, we have as much fun as possible. And Brick was, I asked them if we could use the space. They said yes. Wow. I talked to all the actors, wrote the roles for them. So worked within the community of people I already knew. so I asked everyone what they kind of wanted out of the project, what would be beneficial to them, and then I made sure to write that in. And so now what we have is a 15-minute little love, queer, ridiculous comedy set in a gym. But I think it's got a little bit of something for everyone, and it's really fun.
That's so fun. And then you have like a dream sequence in a giant
Yeah, so much.
martini
It's all
glass?
fantasy. Yeah.
I love it.
There may be a Bloody Mary sequence.
Okay.
One of our characters is extremely hungover. She's like really struggling to get through the workout, so she imagines herself in a big Bloody Mary with a sexy cocktail boy serving her.
I love it.
We just wanted it to be over the top and like really play with it.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Nice. And that's making the rounds at festivals now. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good. It's like on its third or fourth one now. And I just had Chicago reach out to see if they could put it in their Pride Fest.
Oh.
So it's feeling good.
Good.
You know what I mean? It was such a learning project.
Yeah.
Like I created a 2.5-minute short and then I did a 4.5-minute short. And then this was the move to like a 15-minute short.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize things like you need music.
Yep.
Like I was with my cousin and crew, we created 14 original songs for the short film because it's all set in a gym to music.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you do all these things and I was there for every minute of editing. Christopher was the editor, but I was there for every second of it. Placement, color grading. I learned so much in that process.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. Biggest takeaway is like, the script's got to be good.
I was going to say, you come from the script writing background, but you came from playwriting. What was it like to make that transition?
So really where I focused in on in college was short form playwriting.
Oh, okay.
So I actually taught a course at a community college called Tackling the 10-Minute Play.
Nice.
And so it's like as much story as you can accomplish in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And man, that is the lesson you learn time and time again when writing something is like how quickly can you get to the heart of what this character wants and what's in their way.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning that lesson again. And you realize that if you don't know that, you don't have the story. So
if you can't get to the heart of the action.
Yeah, if you can't get to the heart of your character, your protagonist, if you don't understand them and like what they need and what's in their way, like that is the most important thing. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm preparing to write a feature.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. And is it something that you're writing for yourself to be in, or is it
There may be a role for me.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Not the main role though. I think I really wanted to be 2 female leads.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the story we're on right now.
I am available.
Yeah, she goes, call me.
I'm right here. No,
Yeah, she goes, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm working on that with my sister. We're
Yeah.
both queer. We've been making movies since we were kids.
Oh.
Like she directed, I have 5 siblings. So we grew up, we have a lot of home videos.
Oh my gosh.
She recently archived them all, so we have like everything. There's a little clip reel. But, and we've been working on films together. We did those other 2 I mentioned.
Yeah.
Both had like queer elements to them. And then this one, we just want to make something in the vein of Bottoms and Theater Camp and like Driveway Dolls is coming out.
Yeah.
These like strong female protagonist movies.
Yes.
Like that's what we want to capture. Just rebellious comedy. Dix is an inspiration as well.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's great. And I feel like those movies are really having a time right now. So it's a good time for scripts like that.
People want something different.
Yeah.
I think we're so sick of superhero movies.
They have had a wonderful run.
Yeah.
And we are ready for other stories. Yeah.
And let's celebrate queer people. Let's celebrate women. Let's bring other characters to the forefront.
Yeah.
And let's like, for me, I want to tell queer stories without just sinking into the trauma or the trauma of what it is to be queer, but really like let the story revolve around a celebration of being queer.
Yeah.
And joyous. And like how beautiful it is to be who we are.
Yeah.
That's what I want my legacy to be in life, you know what I mean? And that's what I want to do with my films.
That's beautiful. And you started a production company with your sister, right? What's your sister name?
Sheri Urann. She's married to a lovely man, Jace. And our production company is Fat Gratitude, based in Spokane. And we create content or films for artists and do-gooders and community organizations. So it's all mission-based. So like our number 1 client is Terrain, which is a nonprofit arts organization in Spokane, huge, been there since 2008. So right now we're doing a mini documentary on them. That's about 15 minutes. We're in post on that. and then also a mission statement and 8 spotlights of local artists and what they do. And that'll be this fall a big showcase of all these films together, and it's just a celebration of Spokane art and joy, and I'm really excited about it. But we're in the heart of the editing process. I should say Sheri is. She does most of it, and I get feedback, so I'm the lucky one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, and like when you're you collaborate with people. It's like when you're in the heart of a project, often what you do to like distract yourself or breathe is you think of the next thing you're going to be working on together, and like how you want to apply what you're learning now to what that project will become.
Right, exactly. So a lot of those projects, it sounds like, were like about existing organizations, and now you're taking those same skills but applying it to a narrative that you're writing together.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Are you writing it together, or is it kind of you're the writer and she's going to be taking care of the editing side, or are you still working out the details?
We're learning through the process for sure. She's been heavy into like a writing course. Oh, okay. And she got accepted into a Washington film program. So she's in a paid internship right now. I don't know if you know this, Washington State started this huge initiative where they're refunding millions of dollars to filmmakers in Washington to bring more production to the state. Okay. As an incentive. And they created a program to train people how to get that money. Oh. And she's in that program, one of the first 30 to be in the program. Wow. So she's learning everything she can, and we're preparing for that first round of applications.
That's really great.
Yeah, but I mean, I bring my background in playwriting, but she brings her background in, she's a broadcasting degree, art, and she's a psychologist. Oh. So for her, she has such a depth of knowledge when it comes to characters and their motivations. Yeah. And then I'm able to like zoom out and be like, okay, this is what I know about like story outlining, and together we're a really good team, and we both want to create something beautiful and fun. Yeah. You know?
That's so cool. Nice.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to talk. Maybe there's a role in there.
There is never any pressure, but I would be remiss if I didn't offer my services.
Always.
I'm always up to play. Yeah. And so on the writing side of things, what else have you done that you're proud of or excited about?
Yeah. Man, so I used to write primarily plays.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about in the past.
And one was one that like has been featured at a few different festivals, and I'm really proud of. It's called Paint My Lips Pretty. Okay. And it's about someone on the autism spectrum being taken advantage of, and then coming to their caretaker and letting them know what's going on. And it's based off a news article I read. Yeah, that one's a little bit, it's a heavier story, but I've seen it now staged a few times with actors on the spectrum, and that has been like the most rewarding thing ever, is to like, which was the intent of writing it in the first place, you know what I mean? So that is really, really cool. And then I've been part of devising a couple full-length plays as well. Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Nice.
I know, this year is definitely the year to get back into theater, especially like short form theater and like 48 hour festivals, that kind of thing. Okay. You're a theater girly.
I mean, for years, that was like the career. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've kind of fallen away from it more in LA, but those are still my people too.
Yeah. Always. I recognize the theater people.
Yeah. Cheers. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So lots of writing, and, do you have any like people that you look to as inspiration, either for the writing style or that you've learned from, or books or anything that you really appreciate or go to as resources from writing, or you just kind of have studied it all and watched a lot of stuff and assimilated it into your own style?
Well, that's a great question. I had a badass writing instructor at Western, Camry Chapman. Okay. And she was so balls out about writing what you want to write. Yeah. And like fuck the institution and like tear everything down with it. And I respect her so much for that. And she kind of instilled in me that like you have a voice and you should use it. You know what I mean? So, and I'll reach out to her when I thought about taking on projects. Someone wanted me to write a math musical. Okay. Which is fine, but she goes like, and it was from this very like cis white perspective. straight. It was just a very like boxed, rigid kind of project. And she goes, Jeremy's like, is this what you want to do? Are you passionate about this?
Just like you weren't the person for that job.
I like people who create their own opportunities, like
Yeah.
Alina Glazer and the Broad City Girls, Issa Rae and Insecure and rap shit. Like I like people who are making it happen for themselves, who aren't waiting for opportunities, but like creating opportunities to tell stories they care about and also helping others have a come up at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's what I give a shit about.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I look to people, absolutely, like Issa Rae and Tina Fey and anybody that's kind of creating this atmosphere where they're helping others rise as well.
Yes, all about that. Like work with the people you love and like give people an opportunity who might not get it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
You know, and see what happens.
Yeah. I'm really passionate about that as well. I think that's why we like click on so many levels. It's just this idea of like you have a lot to say, but you also have a lot of people around you that you care about that you can give voices to as well.
Yeah. I mean, you're a natural networker. Like
I just like people.
Yeah, you do like
I
people.
actually like people.
And you like getting them in the same room and seeing what happens, which is so much of the creative process.
Yeah.
Film is not a solo sport.
Yeah.
Making a film is a team endeavor, you know what I mean? And like it takes all the right people in the room, and I think you've got a real cool knack for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I think you do too. That's
thank you.
Why we keep winding up together. So it's good. Nice. Who are the kind of people that you want to meet and keep working with?
Ooh, I definitely want to work with other queer storytellers and artists, people who aren't afraid to ask big questions or challenge. Kind of like, honestly, fuck the patriarchy. You know what I mean? I want to work with women. I want protagonists to have. I want to see different protagonists.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to experience stories through a different lens than we have been.
Yeah.
Like,
and just non-traditional, I guess.
Yeah.
Like of what we've had. Just different.
I'm sick of superhero movies and like action thrillers that follow the same beats from the same perspective. You know what I mean? I want to see something different. And I want to do it through comedy. Like, I think for me, comedy, bringing joy and laughter is like, that is what it's all about.
That is, and it's so naturally where you live. It's such a natural fit. It just bubbles out of you.
Right? But I'll tell you what, I've been casting more dramas than comedies.
Really?
Isn't that nuts?
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. And I've been in quite a few dramatic plays too, and I love the characters.
Yeah.
But it's so heavy. It like sinks into you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when thinking of the kind of projects I want to take on, I want to be part of projects that bring levity and illuminate the joy of life rather than sink into the darkness. Because the dark's there every day and it'll creep up if you let it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I know there's a lot of people who subscribe to the like, we need to hold a mirror up to the like ugliness that exists in the world. And I've always pushed back against that a little bit only because I feel like I'm very aware of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not that I want to ignore it. It's that I want to look for the joy and help like bring the light to places that it doesn't exist right now.
Totally.
Okay. So talking has never been a problem.
No.
And I believe for you, you have this gift for like believing in yourself so hard that it is so inspiring. Tell me what it's been like, because that's got to be a journey. And I feel like, I don't know whether you're on the other side of self-doubt or if you've just believed in yourself so hard it's just become a thing that gained momentum, or what? How has that journey been for you?
Gosh, right? It's like the way you walk into a room. Or like the way you meet someone the first time, or how you like introduce yourself. I think that's something that's grown. And it's something I discovered through theater. From a young age, I felt pretty displaced, like I didn't belong or that I was adopted. And I remember my first play I got cast in, I came home and I go, Mom, I found my species. And it was like a small role in a community theater production, but for the first time in a group of people, I felt really like celebrated. Yeah. And I just kept leaning into that, and I kept seeking those people out. You know what I mean? So rather than going out for the sports team where I felt like alienated and uncomfortable in the locker room, I would do the musical theater production with the other queers and women and be around people who made me feel good about myself. And now I just don't fuck with people who I don't feel good around, or like who I feel like their energy wants to bring you down.
Yeah.
Or like projects that want to bring you down. I'm just like, now it's got to be people who amplify you and people who like have that elevated energy.
Yeah.
But I still experience moments of like, can I do this? I think last year during the strike, I was like, I might quit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like, I joined the union. All my money was from non-union commercials for the most part. It also cut the modeling jobs I could do by a third because of video components. And then we went on strike and I was like, I can't fucking do this. I can't pay my bills. Yeah. Like, and I, for a year, was stressed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those are moments when you have to be like, no, like this is the heart of the struggle. Like you just got to live in this, like find ways to support yourself and like keep going and like looking yourself in the mirror and fucking hype yourself up. Find people who love you and remind you who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let your light go out because if you do that, find someone who will remind you where it is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Call your sister, call your mother.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what I do. Those are my best friends. Is my sister, my mother. Yeah, I have 3 wonderful sisters, and yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. What scares you?
What scares me is like not creating something worthwhile or not living up to my potential, or like not putting something out in the world that matters, right? Is to be superfluous. I'm a bit of a bubbly person. I'm a Hufflepuff. Identified Hufflepuff. You know what I mean? But like I used to think that was like a retraction. I wanted to be someone who was considered intellectual. But I just found that my intelligence lied in different areas. Like I have social intelligence. I'm great with people and I love them. And I love talking to them. You know what I mean? I'm good with people in a room. I like teams. So like those are also forms of intelligence. And so I'm learning to lean into those. And then finding people who supplement where maybe I lack and can be a little thoughtless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like find your type A stage manager who can write the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You know, so that you don't have to do that. You know?
That's so great. Yeah, working in the community.
Yeah.
And bringing your strengths and letting others bring their strengths in a complimentary way.
If you want to learn a fucking thing about performance, I don't care what, or just life, watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Because one thing Ru does, it just reminds you how to add your own ingredients to everything you take on. No matter what the challenge is in case of the show or the challenges in life, if you're able to add the thing that makes you special to it and bring that, that's the one thing no one else can do. It's the only thing you can do that no one else can do. Yeah. Because someone's going to flip better, someone's funnier, you know what I mean? But they can't do it like you can.
So what do you bring that's special that's just you?
Ooh, the thing that is just Jeremy, I bring fucking love. Yeah. Like joy is something that's right there for me to grab, which I'm so grateful for. Yeah. I can jump, I can dance, but I just love fucking people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can bring, love.
Yeah, and like that brilliant, radiant love, that sparkly joy and bubbly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional today.
I
get emotional every
day. You're an artist.
Yeah.
Well, and I see that in you, and I appreciate that you don't dim it. You know, I think a lot of people dim it, and you fight to be your full self, and that's got to be hard sometimes.
And not everyone's gonna love it, right?
No, and there's so many social norms that are going to steer you in different directions, and even just in small ways to be small or to be less. Oh God! All the things that you are. And so I'm sure you've had to like fight to be all the things that you are, not fight against, but fight for yourself to feel free enough to do that.
To take the space.
Yeah.
We're so lucky in America. We like really value being your own self and like a high sense of self and like personality, and where in other places that's shut down. But what you said, like being forced to be small is like, I'm a big person in personality and also in size. You know what I mean? And for a long time, I was always trying to be smaller, trying to lose weight, trying to change like who I was. Yeah. And when I really started leaning in to the big, then the opportunities came to celebrate me. And
Wow.
and that's true not just in like, I'm not just talking about body weight, but like be all of myself, you know what I mean? And not push it, but just like allow it. And then let people get in on that. And if they're not in on it, that's fine because other people will dig it. You know what I mean? The right people will dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you really have, like, you've embraced that scale, and it's kind of like you start the party and everybody comes to your party.
Come on. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been,
What advice do you have for people who maybe want to move to LA or who feel this calling to be in the arts in some way and are hesitant or scared?
Yeah, I think there's so much you can be doing before moving to LA to prepare yourself. If you're feeling drawn toward it, I mean, it depends what art form, right? Like if you want to be writing right now, find a deadline for yourself, something you want to submit to. There's so many like short form submissions, festivals, that kind of thing that you can be working toward. You don't have to be in Los Angeles to do that. If you want to be an actor, you need to get really good footage of you being honest on camera. Nowadays, we all carry professional cameras in our pockets. When I first started, I had no real footage. I moved down here from theater. All I had was like a couple film monologues on stage that my agent said, absolutely, you can't use those.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, well, how am I ever going to get a job if I have nothing of me on screen? You're like stuck in that loop. And I remember just being in my little Hollywood apartment that I first moved into, and I'd be watching something or listening to music and I'd get emotional. And I'd be like, what is like the truth of what I'm feeling right now? And from that, I would just turn on my little lights, have my camera set up on a tripod, and I would just riff on a monologue and just like explore every facet of the emotion I was feeling.
Okay.
And my first acting reel had about 3 to 4 of those improv monologues, some at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And those became the basis of my reel and those got me roles that then replaced those.
That's really cool.
So my first reel was like mainly improv monologues.
Wow.
They didn't know. Some of them were auditions that I was doing, but they were good enough for where I was at.
Right.
And that's also, if you're a model, work with a local photographer. If you want to get into modeling, you know what I mean? Do some research and take care of the basics. And don't wait for the opportunities to come to you. There's so much you can be doing now. I think I take on too much. Like I'm trying to do 6 careers at once sometimes. I'm talking though to a teacher, podcast extraordinaire. I think you can relate to me on that one. Like take the small steps and make sure it's really what you want to do. And if you really love it, like you got to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, and you have to love it even when you're not failing at it, but when there's no opportunities or there's
no outside recognition.
Yeah. That's when you have to believe in yourself and love it even more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that like you've kind of embraced what you're feeling and loving at the time. And it's your TikTok dances in a laundromat during the pandemic is what got you modeling in LA.
Yeah.
And that's what's allowing you to make the connections that led to the filmmaking that's leading you back to theater. That's leading, you never know what the journey's going to be, but you're leaning into the stuff that you're excited about right now.
Fuck yes. First of all, period. Because there is no one way. Any person who's, found success will tell you that there's just not one way to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to follow the opportunities that are available to you and that find you.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there, see what comes back, and jump on it. And a small project can turn into a big job.
Yeah.
I mean, I started as a PA for Sherwood, and I was just, getting the coffee orders and getting lunch orders for them while they were shooting. And I was able to pitch my passion project to them, and they helped make it a reality. You know what I mean? But be present in your life and be present for the opportunities that are around you and the people that are waiting to give you the chance. And I think sometimes we think the world's out to get us or like people want to see us fail. But more than not, I think people are just really hoping that you'll be the person who succeeds, that you'll be the right actor for the role, that you're going to do it a way no one else has ever done it. They're just hoping for something honest. And that's like the hardest thing to find in this industry.
Yeah, and it's out there. It's just about putting yourself out there consistently enough and following up. And, when people work with you, they know that you're going to do a good job and you're going to show up and make the set a better place to be. And you're going to have a great attitude about getting the coffee and talking about your script.
Yes. Yeah, you can't control
see all of those things.
All the opportunities, but you can control your work ethic. You can control your attitude. 85% of this industry is like people need to want to be around you for 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Are you someone people like to be around? Do you like being around yourself for 10 to 12 hours? If not, maybe start there. Like, figure that out and then... You know what I mean? Like,
Step one.
Yeah, make yourself laugh first, bitch. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
These
true.
are long days. Creating is hard.
Yeah, but you're not like depending on somebody else. It's kind of like a great relationship. Like you have to be okay with you first to be ready to take on the responsibility of meeting somebody else where they are.
Totally.
Wow.
Totally.
You got me on that one.
Yeah. I never said that out loud, but it is true.
It's true. Okay, so you've had kind of wild commercial success. You've booked more commercials than I think anyone I've met, and I know people who have done a lot of commercials, or like rate of commercials per year, like is insane. How?
Yeah, how?
I'm sure there's more questions.
Gosh.
What are your secrets to booking commercials?
Well, one thing about me is I'm a motherfucking self-submitter. I have professional profiles on Actors Access, Backstage, casting networks, all of them. As soon as I had some footage of me in a commercial, I would use that to submit to more commercials. And they started small, non-union. Read your rates and usage. Don't do anything in perpetuity if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
But I learned like through these jobs how to be my own agent, negotiate terms, get wardrobe bumps, get mileage bumps. So I kind of got in with a couple of production companies that made a lot of non-union work, and they would use me once and then they would cast me in 3 more things immediately.
Great.
So I showed up, I worked my ass off, and then they were like, hey, here's 3 more jobs.
Yeah.
And back then, these are like $200 to $500 jobs starting out. But then, you get like a $3K buyout and you're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, that's rent. And then you're like, okay, keep going. And you just start stacking all these things to help you get the next one. But staying on your submissions, I'm a daily submitter still now. I still don't have an agent. I've never had a real agent in LA.
Wow.
I've booked all those commercials myself.
That's incredible. Yeah.
You don't even have to be in LA to be submitting for those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just have to be able to get here if the opportunity arises, especially now with the advent of, self-tapes.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even meeting you till the day of set.
Right. Like we both did self-tapes today.
Yeah, this morning, right?
Yeah.
They don't know where we're located. Yeah. The fact that I was on set in person is wild today. Not even on set, in studio. Like that never happens. It's all, even for films. Like you get cast in a film without them ever having met you. That's like, this is a new world, people. So like there's really no excuse. I have friends in Seattle. I'm from Spokane, Washington, and I went to school in Bellingham. And they're like, man, like, how do you break in? I'm like, you can be doing it right now. Like, you can be submitting right now. It's a daily practice where you go through the pages, you see what fits, and you're also getting a gauge on the industry. Like, what kind of projects are being created, who's creating them, who's casting them. You start learning names, you, like, develop your approach. Like, I have a copy and paste for different kinds of submissions, for commercial submissions. I have links to all my work. I cultivate a website. I cultivate social media. I mean, it's like, there's no one way to do it. It's kind of like inching in all these different ways. And one job begets another job, and one casting director can love you and put you in 4 projects,
Yeah. So it's just that consistency of effort across multiple arenas.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you're doing a commercial audition? Do you have a specific technique? Because you have training as a theater actor, you have training in improv, and you're also just a joyful person, which comes across well in commercials.
That's what they want, right?
And so what kind of headspace are you in?
I think when casting directors watch a submission tape, they want to see a moment. They want to see a moment made, even if a moment didn't exist in the script. So like they're looking for something memorable, something that makes them feel something. And so like it's your job as an actor. A lot of times these commercial auditions don't even have lines, right? It's just an action. Like you look at your phone and look up, you know what I mean? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
You just have to make it special. Make it special for yourself, and that will show on camera. So like discover moments just like we do in theater, just like we do in rehearsal, is like we look for these like moments that are just waiting to be discovered. And that's what you're doing in self-tapes. A lot of times, I'll tell you, man, you do a self-tape, the first one ends up being the best because you're discovering what to do in the moment. And then you'll do a few more because you're like, oh, I can really nail that. And like what you're actually doing is trying to recapture what you discovered the first time.
Put the lightning back in the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh no, I already kind of...
I did that.
Yeah, and then you watch it back and you're like, okay. I would not recommend doing 30 takes. Ever, never. If you're on like tape 6 or 7, take a break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not getting better.
It's not getting better. You're pushing harder. You know what I mean? Like the magic of self-tapes is like, and find someone you love reading with and who like helps you out. Like if you meet another actor, help each other.
Yeah.
I've done it with my siblings, my partner.
Yeah.
I've used everyone for self-tapes. I've been on set and had a fellow actor help me do a self-tape.
Nice.
That happens all the time.
Yep.
You're on work for one job and you're like, oh, I have to get this in by noon today. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was editing my submission on the way to my audition today. Hoping to upload it in time.
Absolutely.
Just chaos. And taking time with your words, and like so much of this industry is like how you present yourself through technology via email or via your acting profile. Like look at yourself with a hard eye and be like, what do I bring that no one else brings? And like, am I showcasing that in my headshots?
Yeah.
In the way I describe myself and the skills I have listed.
Yeah. I do think your website and your social media presents you really well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's a skill, and I know that you've worked at it over a long time, but I think it's such an encapsulation. So if somebody's listening or watching, like I'll put all your links in the show notes.
JeremyUrann.com, yeah. Thank you. I need to pay for the domain. So.
But I think that yours is a great example of like you do 7 different things professionally, but you have your talent, your professionalism, your spirit, your ebullience. How do you pronounce that word? Ebullience? I don't even know.
It sounds like soup. Like what's that thing you put in soup?
Oh yeah, bouillon.
Yeah, it's my bouillon.
Your soupiness.
If you want to book a commercial, get a bouillon. Get good bouillon.
Yes, it shines through all of that very consistently. So I think it's cool because you kind of are a personal brand, and you have found the way to encapsulate that in your social media and your website, which is very effective.
Thank you, because I think like when you're like, well, what do I want to do? Like honestly, I just want to get paid to be myself.
Ooh,
that's where that's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
I want to get to sit down and have conversations with people, and then you hope like if it's evident you put time into your profiles and your website and your stuff, like even if you're not the most talented person, they'll understand that like, oh, he cares.
Yeah,
and he's got work ethic.
Yeah,
you know, and I'll rely on my work ethic all the time. There's one thing I'll fall back on, it's my work ethic. Because like I know I'll work harder than anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you give me the
that.
chance. Yeah, and that's, if you bring that, if you're prepared, those are like the things that make a difference.
Yeah, that's great. What would your creator's challenge be for my audience? If they could take 10 minutes and do something with what they've already got, what would you challenge them to do?
With what they've already got.
Or could, like they don't need to go buy anything.
Okay, yeah.
Like the resources they already have at hand.
Totally. I mean, I think my creative challenge would be what helped me, which is build your own reel. Like using improv, using your own experiences.
Okay.
Start, if you want to play a role where you're confessing something to a close friend, just try it. Turn the camera on and see what happens and confess that thing, change some facts, but keep the heart of it true. And use that to start building your portfolio of what it is you can do. And then take that scene and write it down. And then have something that's like reproducible if you wanted to, or like the start of a bigger story. Practice your slates. Fucking slates, man, is you do them how many times a day?
Yeah.
Let's hear yours. I want to hear yours.
Hello, my name is Jessica Payne. I'm from Los Angeles, and I am available March 8th through 10th.
Ooh, mine were 8th through 10th today too.
Let's do this project together.
Yeah,
That's
right?
great.
Wait, what was your project
Maybe
called?
we're married.
I know. Was yours called Senior Night?
It was! Let's be married.
Oh my gosh! I'm the announcer at the basketball game. I mean, that's what I was submitting for.
Okay, perfect. That's
That
hilarious.
is so fucking funny. I was like, mine was an 8 through 10.
That's...
I'm fucking dead. Yeah, we both were like close to the deadline. It was tonight.
It was tonight. I know. I was out of town and I was like, we gotta go.
Always do your deadlines early. Never wait till the last minute on deadlines.
I never do. This is the latest I've ever done one.
I know, I haven't had time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so fucking funny. Well, that's because it's the second time they've cast this one too.
Well, they were looking for us.
They're looking for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw they're like, new casting director. Did you see that note?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And like some of the details of the slate
Bitch, we're
changed.
industry bitches because we both, yeah, they did change. They must have gone through a production
yeah.
switch. That is so fucking funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll see you on set then.
Right? I hope so too. I'll be at the basketball game.
That's so funny. Wow.
I'm dead. Mine is, hey there, I'm Jeremy Urann, 6'1", based here in Los Angeles, California, and I would love to be considered for the role of announcer. Thank you so much. And then here's my full body shot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is me, baby.
Yeah.
So that was so fantastic, and I wanted to wrap up the Creators Challenge by like distilling it to like, if you slate, work on your slate. That's really good. And I think the core that everybody could take out of this, no matter what their kind of arena is like whatever the core of the thing you want to do is, get yourself on tape doing the thing you want to do, and don't freak out about trying to find the perfect thing. Just create it. Just create it. Just make it.
Create it without the intent of showing. It can even just be for yourself.
So it exists.
Yeah, try it the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give it a shot.
Okay.
And you're not risking all you're risking is like not liking it yourself.
Yeah.
And you can live with that.
And you have to like yourself first. You gotta
You have to like your own acting.
Yeah.
If you've ever edited your own movie and you have to watch 10 hours of raw footage of yourself, you'll learn a lot about what you don't like and what you will never do again.
Exactly. And a lot of people say they don't like watching themselves on camera, but you have to learn. It's not that we like love watching ourselves on camera. It's you have to learn.
Also, not seeing yourself on camera, that's like the Johnny Depp thing, right? But that's a privilege no one has anymore. You have to be able to be your own director when it comes to these auditions.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the luxury of not being able to take a critical eye at your artistry.
And it's very much like, a sports team reviewing the tape. Like, we have to look at what's working, what's not working.
Yeah.
What's the lighting doing? Is this effective? Is it communicating?
How's
Is this
the framing?
working?
Yeah.
How's the
And
framing?
can I see where's the eye line?
Yeah.
Like, these are technical things, you know what I mean, that become second nature, but not at first. At first, you have to be like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I've made some shitty self-tapes, girl. You know what I mean? I made hundreds.
Yeah, and it's once you're dozens and hundreds in that you start to be able to, you have enough of a body of work to know what is good.
Yeah.
And you recognize it when it is good.
Oh my God, I hope we both get senior night.
I can't believe
Fucking
it.
dead.
That's
killed me.
hilarious to me.
When you said March 8th through 10th,
March 8th through 10th, I was
those
like,
numbers, I was like,
wait
that's
a
so
second.
weird. Oh, well.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only question I didn't ask you that I wanted to make sure to ask you is, you are a very successful model on top of all of the other things that you do. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people either consider themselves, like a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I act some, I write some, maybe I sing a little bit. I feel like modeling has this line in the sand where people either were told when they were 13 that someone thought they should be a model, or they've thought the rest of their life, like, that's not me.
Totally.
And I appreciate about you that you've talked about being a plus size model and being the only person who looks like you in a room sometimes, and still having this like sense of confidence and joy in your body, which is not something many of us feel a lot of the time. So how do you get there, and how do you think about modeling?
Right. Man, modeling for me, I mean, when I was a kid, I was always big. I wouldn't take my shirt off at the pool. And some of my first modeling jobs required me to be shirtless on camera.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But around 21, 22, I like had a bit of a body revolution where I fell into fitness and I just learned to see the power in my body rather than all the things wrong with it.
Yeah.
It was actually because of a play, Equus.
Yeah.
In college, I got cast as the stable owner and I was like, no, I want to be the horse. I want to be the horse god. So I lost 75 pounds over the course of a summer and changed my life to be this role.
Whoa.
And like that, like was like a claiming of power. It wasn't about the weight loss. It was about discovering the power that's in myself. And so when someone asked me to model, I brought that to everything I did. And so like when you walk into a room and you're, 30, 40 pounds heavier, today I was in another size bracket. Everyone was a modern dancer. Every body in there was a modern dancer body.
Well, you're also a modern dancer body.
Okay, yes. But like,
I know exactly what you mean.
But instead of being like trying to make myself smaller, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be the biggest one here.
Yeah.
And just like leaning into that. So like this thing that maybe could have been like held me back and like made me be insecure is now my greatest source of strength and like what sets me apart. And so like when it's me versus 10 other guys for a role and I'm the only big guy, I'm the big guy. You know what I mean? Like what if we cast the big guy? Like what if we cast him? He's not like any of them. I think you just need to look at all the things that maybe you think are holding you back and see if you can turn them into something positive. When it comes to modeling and commercial acting, I would tell you to take a dance class.
Yeah.
It's actually the movement
Yeah.
that brings life to pictures and books you commercial jobs.
Oh.
Like modeling is more moving than sitting still. I think people don't know that. There's almost no like standing still unless you're doing editorial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all about can you move and flow. And if you're a guy, taking dance classes will set you apart in another bracket.
Thank you so much for coming and chatting with me. I loved it. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, thank you for having me. You can find me on jeremyurann.com, JEREMYURANN. And then on Instagram, whatever, TikTok, if you like to dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. This was a delight, and I look forward to seeing you on set.
I know. Let's book, baby.
Let's book it.
To booking. Yes, cheers.
Join the community and share your creative challenges on Instagram and Facebook at Creators Cafe by Kika Labs. And also check out my website, kikalabs.com, KIKALABS.com, to sign up for the mailing list so you always know when a new podcast is released, and to check out my coaching and digital courses to help you be a more confident and joyful creator.